What up, everyone? Gadget here. And this, you know, this welcome everybody to my videos here on, be posted here on YouTube, where we're gonna be talking security. It's gonna be entitled "Talking Security with Gadget," and I'm sure to tell everybody. And once again, here in these videos, I'm gonna be talking about what the security industry is like here in the state of Oklahoma. And in the last video, I talked about a little bit about the history, how we got to being where we are now. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about what you're going to be getting into here in the state. Here, if for anyone new entering the profession, the first rule of thumb I want to say right away is everything I say here is my own opinion. I'm not a certified instructor. I'm not no expert at it. I just got to have a little time in it. That I've seen a few things, and I've seen and watched a few things, and and I'm sharing all this to where hopefully we can, and which I'll tell you this right now, that you're entering in a profession where it's not looked at very well. It's not looked very highly on at all. It's in a profession where you have to ask yourself kind of what kind of person are you, inside. I mean, do you have the integrity? And integrity, because it's not. I'm going to backtrack for this second. It's not looked at because I've seen security guards, officer professionals, whatever you want to call it. They've done some crazy stuff. I've seen the first rule of thumb that I want you to understand is when you're entering in this industry, depending on how far you went with your initial training, when you went to phase 4, the guys where you're licensed, where you can carry a sidearm or shotgun, here in phase, what have you. You're not a cop. You are not law enforcement. Let me make that extremely clear. You're basically like everyone else here in the profession, that if you do the job right, you can be a good partner. You can be a partner with law enforcement. And what I mean by that is it goes back to the basic job of the security guard for what a professional: observe, report, and I've heard in some instances prevent. Now, with that being said, what are you getting into? On the general whole, the industry is a good stepping stone for if you want to be entering law enforcement, because like I said before, you're going to be dealing a lot with people. And in this profession, security and law enforcement do have one thing in common: is 96% of your job it's going to be that of a social worker. You're going to be helping people find solutions to their problems. That's one aspect of the profession. Another aspect is you're going to be you're going to be working. You could be assigned. This depends on the agency you're going to be working at. Agencies, there's several agencies out there right now, and they'll do assignments ranging from executive protection. You're looking at roving patrol, where you could be patrolling an assigned set of properties. You could be looking at working fixed standing sites from industrial buildings, corporate buildings. You could be looking at. Now, I'll give you some of the scenarios places I've worked. I've worked mixing plants. I've worked a lot of construction sites. In those places like that, you're watching it. You got to make sure there's nobody coming on stealing copper, and things of that sort. I've worked copper. I've worked patrol. That's been a large part of in my career. I have worked in the grocery stores. and I will be the first one to tell you, loss prevention is not one of my specialties. But again, you know what your skill set, is, and you have to go find the agency that is going to work well for you. Um, I don't believe any agency is a bad agency. Yeah, I've got my beefs with several of them, but again, that's just my opinion. They all have good points about them, and again, you just have to go with that agency that works well for you. Other places you might be working is low-income housing, which I've also done, and what I've been and you could be working in the homeowners associations. You could be working concerts, sporting events. You can look at, if you watch major sports like the NBA or the NFL, you might see an outfit called CSC Event Services. You'll see them there quite a bit. You could it's really a host of stuff you could be doing. Um, the common denominator in all of that is you're going to be dealing with people, and unless you're dealing with third watch. I'm going to backtrack out a lot of what's kind of emerged. Also, you could be working at, depending on it, you could be working in the casinos. That's an avenue on that. I talk to officers working in casinos quite often, and they get to see a lot. And any of y'all that do work, and chime in the comments. Um, the common denominator is you're gonna be doing a lot of customer service. You're gonna be customer facing, and in that you're gonna be dealing with people most of the time at their worst. You're gonna be dealing with one and time people at their best. Um, Here in the state of Oklahoma, I'm gonna touch on this now, but I'll be talking about it in another video. The Brotherhood. Um, in my opinion, it's developing here. We do. If you haven't heard before, it is referred most of us refer to it as the Thin Green Line. Um, I know in another video Reaper Warren had, he talked about on the general whole, and I do agree with him that the Brotherhood in general is not there, but I am seeing it in spots, and here in Oklahoma, it is developing here. Not where I'd like for it to be, but it is definitely developing. Because we do have a security and law enforcement pages here in Oklahoma. The groups that I'm part of here. And that's good, because it always helps keep you awake. Like when you, depending on if you're doing like third watch, like what most of my career has been, doing a lot of third watch, where if you're in between patrols, you're always doing something what you want to do is you want to help better. You want to help better your next guy that's out there. You might be working another post, or just more like simple things, the simple things and things of that sort. You're going to be entering in, and I think the biggest obstacle the big thing that what you want to do is you're entering an industry where the golden rule: do unto others as you like to have them do unto you. You treat people with respect, they're gonna give it back to you. I had an instance where the way I approach the job is I'm no better than that next person that's coming up to me. I put on my pants the same way they do. Yeah, I've done a little training. Yeah, I'm carrying a gun. I've got a badge, but it doesn't make me any different than the next guy. He's asking for help. If I can help that person, fabulous. If not, I want to try to direct them to an avenue that they can get help. Um, and just another tip that, and I see a lot. I've seen a lot of people do this. You don't cop an attitude. You don't cop an attitude with anybody, because I tell you what, they will roast you alive, and to the point that you're not going to be able to hack it much longer. Um, this is an industry where you better have a very thick skin, where you're going to be called everything: rent a pig, rent a cop, rent a whatever. You're going to be called guard, officer. What people's going to tell people's just going to not like, people's going to hate your guts just because they hate your guts. Law enforcement, there's some law enforcement out there, and if any of you in law enforcement is watching this, I hope you chime in on it. I hope you can prove me wrong. Um, you're gonna most of law enforcement is not gonna like you just because they don't like you're wearing that. Um, the way to beat that is, again, that goes back to whatever agency you're working at. It also can fall on you. Yeah, it also can fall on you to where you earn that respect. Where if you can handle, like I found for me, where if I can handle a lot of my problems, a lot of problems I can handle, I don't need to. If I don't need to get them out there, I don't. The way that I approached the problem is, if it's minor, like I got to kick somebody off of a property, I do. Knowing good and well, they're probably going to be back. They're probably going to be back, which is so par for the course. Um, Now, in another video, I'll be talking about the tools of the trade. And this is some other things that you can talk about where it's going to help you do the job more effectively. And what I've come to learn in the industry, as opposed to as in reference to law enforcement, you can be a good partner with them. That way, and what I mean by a good partner is, you can be that extra set of eyes and ears that if you're working a post, that you can develop that relationship with law enforcement, that they might come by, chat, see how things are going, with you, and if you've seen anything, whatnot. Now again, not every law enforcement agency is going to do that, so just don't be going looking for it. If it happens, great. If not, no big deal. It's no skin off your shoulder. But the thing is, you can be an effective partner. And I'll talk about that in a later video through my experience with the Citizen Police Academy of one law enforcement agency that I was a part of. That in a nutshell. So I'm gonna, to kind of summarize the video, it's going to be several things. You're going to be dealing with your customer service skills are going to be developed, and if not, you're going to have to deal with a lot of people, in which I've done. You're going to be dealing with it. You're going to be in a profession that's not very well liked because of, again, this things I've seen. I've heard of guards that, well, this is kind of becoming a little bit more prevalent when we go a little bit further on that. I've seen where they've interfered. They'll trample on civil rights of people. I have heard of instances where one agency working this one apartment complex decide they're going to go harass a black male just because I don't really know why. I don't know why that they just did. One guard ended up pepper spraying a guy just simply because there was no crime. There was no crime committed. Now, that's one thing you don't do. If you don't see anybody doing any commission of a crime, don't worry. I mean, hey, you can go up and say hi to them. I mean, I did that a lot. Working in a car dealership, I see people going looking at cars. I go say hi, say how things are going. I just kind of be on my merry way. Nothing wrong with that. Am I looking for anything? Well, yes and no. I mean, I want to make sure they're on the up and up. But most of the part, most of the time, I'm going to say hi to people. Uh, you know, and this, you know, you better not. And one thing, this is the biggest no-no. You better not be getting in this profession that you think you're going to trample on people. That ain't going to happen. Like I said, people have cell phones. You're going to be watched by the electronic eye. You're going to be watched by other people. I will tell you this right now: Oklahoma is a one-party state, which means any recorded people can video you, and there's not really jack you can do about it. Three conditions have to be met. One, you are one of the parties to the conversation. Two, you have authorization from one of the parties in the conversation. In the conversation. Three, you're in a semi-public place. Most of the time, in my experiences, I've always been outside. Not a whole lot you can do about it. Not a whole. I mean, I've worked outside. If they want to film you, they yeah, you can tell them not to step on the private property, step on secondary. But once they get on the street, you're fair game. You can do one or two things. Yeah, you just walk away and let them do their thing. Just remember that Oklahoma is a one-party state. So whatever you do, you are going to be watched, and it could be that position of the public that's going to could possibly make you or break you. You could be going up on YouTube making you look like an idiot, or they could be praising you for something that you did for somebody. Again, that's why I'm going back to your customer service skills. They're gonna be developed. They're gonna be tested, and you better have a thick skin, because you're gonna be called every name in the book. You see, and I know a lot of my experience. You look for the positives of how you can help people. That was always the best reward of it for me. You look for the positives of how you can help the next guy, and that can be. And I'll talk about that, in the video on the tools of the trade, because every little bit of that in the time I've worked in the profession, it's always been to help someone else, to help that next person out, whatever the case may be. One more thing I'll talk about, and then I'll wrap up this video. In the customer service skills. Remember this: that client or that customer, you want to develop relationships with them. Know this: they're not your friends. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. You're in an industry where you are a security professional. You have to look at. You treat everybody with respect and kindness, whatever. Like I say, everything that you would want them to treat you with. But know this: the customer or that client will snitch on you in a heartbeat. And I'm telling you that from personal experience. So remember this: you always want to be a professional. You always want to treat people right. You always want to do your job. The public out there, on the general whole, is not going to like you. That's why I go back to where the Brotherhood, the Thin Green Line here in the state of Oklahoma, is developing. And I'll tell you this: with that an old captain that a captain used to told me along with my first agency that I worked at several years ago. An old captain and a Facebook friend of mine. He told me this. He says, "Let's learn to care about each other, because the world out there doesn't give two craps about us." And they don't, for the most part. Although we're seeing, like I say, the times may be changing now, but on the general whole, until we see better proof of it, more positive on it. Let's care about each other, because on the general whole, the public doesn't give two craps about us. With that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video for now. And remember, in everything that you do, protect yourselves at all times. Gadget out.